Hello and welcome to another Disney Pixar video, and today we are going to talk about Toy Story 3 in 2010. New cast members in this movie, we have Michael Keaton as Ken, Jodie Benson as Barbie, Emily Hann as Bonnie, Ned Beatty as Lasso. Starting with the movie, we have Mr. Potato Head is stealing money, and then Sheriff Woody caught him red-handed. Buzz helped out of rescuing Woody, and then Rex came out to the ground like Jurassic Park, and then Ham had like a big giant airplane and bombing some like crazy monkeys on them. And it just shows enough of it really makes the animated very well, and this is what like Andy playing time in like in our in a storyline in a way, because this is this is what Andy is reacting of his creative with his toys and stuff, and we do see that him playing with his toys. We really don't see this because now we're like literally seeing Andy growing up, and where enough he is more grown up and he is ready to go to college. Molly did not care about Barbie like at all.
Poor Barbie.
Would throw you away!
Obviously, for Andy going to college, he is making a big decision and stuff, and it's up to Buzz or Woody of who he wants to keep going to college. So fortunately enough, he pretty much put everyone in a garbage bag in a way to put it in the attic, and then kept Woody just to go to college. Andy's mom thought what he put the toys in was actually trash, because obviously it's a trash bag. The toys are going to daycare, and this is where we are meeting Lasso the bear, and he is smelled like strawberry.
New toys!
And this is where Barbie hooked on Ken's eye. Ken and the other toys are playing a game in the vending machine, and then Buzz got caught. And then fortunately they changed his demands to demo and working for him, and then after the gang got him back, he starts speaking in Spanish.
Bitácora espacial. Me he despertado del hipersueño en un planeta extraño.
Chuckles actually told a very sad story when him and Lasso and Baby had their own kid, and unfortunately what happened is the kid left her toys outside and forgot about them. So when they got back to their owner house, right away Lasso was replaced from a different Lasso bear. Woody got help from a telephone toy and telling him about nobody can even get out from daycare. So the only way they can absolutely get out of this place is taking down a crazy monkey. And unfortunately for Crazy Monkey, we had this crazy Woody and versus Crazy Monkey, and Woody actually won. They tried to escape, but fortunately it didn't work. They all got stuck in the trash, and then Lasso even got stuck as well, but Woody and Buzz went up to help him. Just shows of enough of Woody and Buzz and the rest have good hearts.
Thank you, Sheriff.
And then they see fire at the end. They thought it was daylight, but fortunately it was fire because trash gets molded from from fire. Then they were helping Lasso to literally stop the button, but fortunately at the end he didn't do what Woody and Buzz did to him. So fortunately enough, he just let them go in trash. So that's just weird enough of Lasso doesn't have a good heart. So it's crazy enough of Woody actually helped Lasso, but fortunately he didn't help the rest.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
When all of them were all together looking at the fire, this is like actually like the end of Andy's toys and stuff, because they were going to die all together and stuff. But fortunately enough, the three aliens of the Pizza Planet basically helped out with the claw. They got back to Andy's house, and then Andy went to Bonnie's house. Andy explained every toy to Bondi, so we basically have Jesse with with Bullseye, Rex the dinosaur, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, Slinky Dog, Ham, Pizza Planet aliens, and Buzz Lightyear. But after that, Woody was actually in the blocks as well, and unfortunately Andy didn't know that. I believe was like the saddest moment in this movie, because Andy didn't want to give up Woody and stuff, because Woody's been there for Andy for so long when he was a kid and stuff. So fortunately, it was hard for him to give up Woody to Bonnie and stuff. And then Bonnie and Andy basically had a playtime and stuff. This was the last time Andy was playing with his toys and stuff. Really great moment and stuff. And then Andy said goodbye, and fortunately enough, Woody said goodbye and stuff. I really got very emotional in this scene, very well and stuff. So they just had a very happy ending and stuff. Like it was sad all and stuff, but it really did end up a good ending.
So long, partner.
Easter eggs, not a whole lot. There was a lot of Easter eggs enough, but fortunately the ones we mostly will talk about. Fortunately for the Pizza Planet truck, Lasso truck and the baby toy was actually in the back of the truck. And then AA13 is still Andy's mom driving license and stuff, so that's that. That's pretty much it for Toy Story 3. This really like came out a banger movie and stuff. Movies are gonna like this, it's gonna come through for us for these Disney Pixar movies. And so I really enjoy this. Obviously, just understanding of enough of now Andy's more grown up and stuff, and fortunately for kids to get grown, they really don't need these toys. So it's honestly enough. It's good for just give up toys you had for a long time and stuff, and then just to give somebody much of a younger person as a kid and stuff, just to have that legacy that through and stuff, to make kids happy with new toys and all that stuff. So again, of it, I really had a hard time with this, because like sometimes enough, like I don't want to get so emotional in a way, but fortunately enough, I did had a hard time watching this movie. I was having a hard time watching like reactions and stuff, just seeing it all back by just getting like the scenes I need to get for this video and stuff. I was having a hard time. I would definitely say that, because I thinking we basically like grew up liking these movies and stuff, and we didn't really expect of enough for Andy just to give up all his toys to a little girl and stuff. It's honestly shows enough of Andy is just much of a grown person to himself, to literally give all of his toys, especially Woody, to Bonnie and stuff. just shows enough. He just has a great heart to his own and stuff. You know, just shows enough of he is mostly a big character to all three of these movies of Toy Story and stuff. So so yeah, so we just kind of like grew up with these movies and these characters. We enjoy like Woody and Buzz and the rest and stuff. So it's really honestly a really cool experience to number one and number two of Toy Story and stuff, showing of like, hey, we're getting these toys and then what's new and stuff to the point of that and stuff. And then the third one was basically just like the end of having Andy with his toys and stuff. And fortunately enough, we understand enough. Toy Story 4 is a thing. I heard a lot of people are saying Toy Story 4 shouldn't be a thing and stuff. And this, honestly enough, will actually end of like the storyline, and I thinking it would actually be better to end at the storyline and stuff than knowing more and stuff. We're also getting Toy Story 5 as well soon later and stuff. So honestly, I don't know what people are expecting in these new movies we're gonna see and stuff. But yeah, the only time I really got like, you know, a little emotional and stuff, you know, obviously the end, it really got you all teared up because, you know, he's giving up his toys, you know, like we understand about that and stuff. The other thing, you know, and what I wanted to understand of like of how I feel, you know, I'm not like I didn't like tear up or whatever or anything like that and stuff. It feels like, you know, it did feel like your heart is kind of like dragging a little bit and stuff, and so it hits you very hard and stuff, and then, you know, obviously, you gotta like push that back and stuff and just like, okay, yeah, and stuff. So it's just like those little moments of that emotion I was literally getting and stuff, you know. Obviously enough for Woody to say goodbye, because Bonnie, like, you know, helped Woody to say, you know, wave to Andy saying goodbye, whatever, and stuff. That really hits really hard, very well, and stuff. And then even in the beginning, basically, where enough they were gathering up in the beginning and stuff, just saying enough of like, okay, everybody, let's group up and all stuff. And fortunately, it's just like our main characters' toys are all together. So I have a feeling there's a lot of other characters we probably known from Toy Story and Toy Story 2 are now non owners to Andy anymore. So that was another thing where enough of just like, wow, it really, really did change a lot, and that did hit me in a strange way and stuff. Just showing enough of like, you know, how we've been growing up with this to the beginning to this end of the storyline and stuff. So that's what I wanted to explain for that and stuff. I would definitely say this is probably the most emotional movie probably ever, because, you know, again, this was the very first Disney Pixar movie ever made and stuff, and fortunately ending up with Andy leaving his toys away and stuff. So that was a big moment. The next movie, Disney Pixar movie, is coming through. It's gonna be Cars 2. So fortunately, there was a Easter egg in Andy's room where enough it had a poster of the spy from Cars 2. So that just shows enough that will be the next Disney Pixar movie. So Cars 2 is next, so get hyped for that. Hopefully you like this video. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more content like this. Have a nice day, and thank you for watching.